This is For the Creators.
Welcome back to another episode of For the Creators, where it's our job to demystify creativity. In these long-form conversations, we tease out tips and tricks from all kinds of creatives, whether they're musicians, presenters, actors, directors, DJs, writers, entrepreneurs, and everything in between. In this episode, I sit down with Yinka Bokinni, aka the one and only Yink Daddy. Yinka is currently a presenter of Capital Extra and Diet Coke. She's a TEDx speaker, a blogger, and the list of accolades go on and on. At such a young age and with so many achievements under her very fashionable belt, she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. But the best thing about Yinka, in my opinion, is the fact that she swings to the beat of her own drum and is unapologetically herself 100% of the time. During our conversation, she reminisced on what it was like growing up with 6 siblings, witnessing the impact of her neighbour Damilola Taylor's death, studying law at university, and how after hearing how much a super drug DJ was having fun whilst at work made her want to become a presenter. Our conversation was filled with laughter, moments of reflection, and too many motivational gems to count. With Yinka's talent, drive, and confidence, I'm sure that she hasn't even begun to scratch the surface of her limitless potential. So if you're an aspiring DJ, presenter, or female boss, this episode is definitely for you. So without further ado, please enjoy my sit down with Yinka Bokinni. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I feel all important.
Yeah, you are. So I was listening to your show today and I was thinking, what should I call you? Should I call you Yinka? Should I call you Yink Daddy? Or should I call you Yinkiki?
Do you know what, yeah? Yink Daddy is the name. I've been trying to get this nickname going for a while. It's been about 7 months. And I think you're the second person, bar myself, to call me Yink Daddy.
To acknowledge it.
Yeah, Yinka's fine though.
Where did Yink Daddy come from?
It was just a way for me to annoy my friends, if I'm honest. Because I don't really have a nickname. You know, like Yinks, Yinky. I just think they're a bit basic, innit? So if Yink Daddy, I feel like I sound like the Beyonce of Peckham.
Dope.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Well, that actually takes us nicely into the next question, because I was going to because obviously I watched your TEDx talk and then you mentioned that you were born and raised in Peckham and all of that. And then later you moved to Nuneaton. It's just that, what was it like growing up in Peckham back in the day?
Well, to be honest, I don't have any other experience. You know, I've grown up anywhere else. Peckham has been, I don't live there anymore. I just recently moved.
Oh, just recently?
But yeah, like a week ago. Like, bye guys.
Oh, dope.
But, you know, I still have my room at home and stuff, just in case. But with Peckham, yeah, I don't have any other experience of any other life. I don't feel like I had a bad childhood. I think my mum did her best with the circumstances that we were in. But, you know, I've got 6 siblings and we grew up in a 4-bedroom flat. And, you know, when it comes to Irish and Nigerian folk, like, aunties and uncles stay in it and they don't leave. I don't know if it's the same.
I think it's the same with West Indians.
Is
as
it
well.
the same?
They move in and it's
and it's
kind
like,
of overstayed your welcome.
Do you know what I'm saying? Well, obviously, I'm 8. I can't say that. So yeah, it was overcrowded, but in a really nice way. My siblings were and still are my best friends. Like, my sisters are definitely my best friends. My brothers,
it's really
as
cool.
well. So I feel very lucky to have that. And yes, of course, it wasn't idyllic. Idyllic?
That is a word.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ideal.
But ideal would be better.
Yeah. It wasn't like sunshine and rainbows and stuff.
But that's one of the things that I always question, because like you will see like a child in Africa who's supposedly going through the worst, but then they'll just have a bright smile on their face.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking sometimes until you're told that you're poor,
I didn't know I was poor.
sometimes you don't even know.
I didn't have a clue.
That's it.
I had no clue until we moved. So I lived on North Peckham Estate, on Gloucester Estate, which, you know, like Damilola Taylor was my next door neighbour. He lived in the block next to me. And like, I grew up with gigs and like Femfel and all those guys.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're like my sister's mates and they look after me now.
It's really cool.
And everyone was the same. Like, when everybody has nothing, it's like, that's just the norm. Like, at school, everyone got free dinners in primary school. You know, everyone had the same uniform. I understand why uniforms had to exist and stuff. And we all played out all the time. And then when I moved, it was to like a nicer bit of Peckham, so Nunhead, and that's when I started to realise that we don't have as much money as everyone else. Because when we were going to school, like, I'd have less pocket money or less lunch money than everyone. And I'd always eat meal of the day. And everyone would cuss me. I'm starving though. What do you mean? Bring a pack lunch. What?
Pack
is that?
what?
That's Ebba. Like, I can't bring Ebba. So it's like, I didn't realise that we didn't have that much money. And then when I did, it wasn't like a shame. I wasn't ashamed of it or anything. Because my mum was quite clever in that money was the least important. Like, yeah, you need it to survive.
Yeah.
But even now, like, I don't have the yearning for money. Like, obviously what I do for a living does enable me to buy things and to be able to support myself and help my family in that. But, you know, it's not, I don't covet money. It's not something that I need for happiness, because I feel like when I was a kid, I was the happiest.
Yeah.
And I had like 10p a day, man. So
I just feel like it's one of those things where, like, the more you get, the more you want.
yeah.
So if you base your happiness on something that's external to yourself, you're always going to want more.
And if you base your happiness on something that has no value until it's gone, then how are you supposed to be happy? Because it's an insatiable thirst. Like, if you want loads of money, but then you want it so you can spend it, then you have no money. Then you want more money. And it's like, when does that end?
Exactly. Because one of the things I live by, like, I kind of aim for joy rather than happiness, because joy is a constant.
Yeah.
Like, happiness is usually because, if you're with a certain guy, then you're happy.
Yeah.
Or if you have the right job, or if you have the right car. But then later on, as soon as that's taken away from you, then you're no longer happy.
Yeah, because it's like subject to something.
Exactly.
But, you know, joy, it is a constant. I understand what you mean. But that's the thing about when you're saying that kids, you know, who don't have anything still smiling. Like, if you don't have the badness or like the upset or the down days, then you're never going to be joyful. You're never going to be happy because you can't because you can't appreciate it. So for me, I think that people always think that I'm really happy, and I know I'm always smiling in that, but it's because, like, I know what it's like to be sad, and I know what it's like to have true loss or true, like, upset. So when I'm not feeling that, there's no other excuse
but to be happy.
Yeah.
But then there's this quote as well which says, like, if you were to throw all of your problems and all your worries into a pile and everyone else was to do the same, you'll jump in and take yours out.
Yeah.
Because there's other people who's always going for something a lot worse than you are.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, everyone, to a certain extent, I believe that we're given what we can handle. Maybe not all the time, but day-to-day life, you know. I do think that my day-to-day stresses or my day-to-day woes and worries are, like, to you may not be able to handle it, but to me, it's fine. And then if I was in your shoes for 12 hours, I might throw them off and walk barefoot, you know? You never
nice
know.
shoes.
No, obviously the style's classy.
Yeah, so growing up in a household of 6, you know, what was that like? Because obviously with your personality, I'm wondering, is that as a result of the fact that you were like a child somewhere in the middle? Or
I'm a middle child.
Yeah.
Is it obvious? The thing, I'm not the quietest of my siblings, but I am in no way the weirdest. That people always meet me and they're usually
I don't
shocked.
think you're weird though.
No, but like usually people are shocked because the way I am, be it like on radio or on camera, is the way that I am in real life. Hopefully I look the same. You know what I'm saying?
You do.
No, but you know that my personality, and that's because with my sisters, so I've got 4 sisters and 2 brothers, and I've got a cousin who just never left. I must say I've got 3 brothers. But with my family, there's no excuse other than to be yourself. So yeah, it was a case of, you know, fight or be killed in my house. Yeah, especially with my brothers, we're really close in age, so I was almost brought up like a boy.
Okay.
But with my sisters as well, like, they encourage me so much to be myself, and they're always saying like that I need to learn from their mistakes. So if my sister made a silly mistake with a boy, or if somebody went through this breakup, or if somebody lost all their money in this hedge fund or something, it's that, you know, Yinks, learn.
Don't do the same thing.
Yeah, learn from us, because I'm their legacy. That they say to me a lot. So they've gassed me a little bit because they do say that I'm the best version of them. So if you add
that's
forward
really
into-
nice.
Yeah. When they said it, my sister was drunk when she
Definitely
said it.
would be gassed over that.
I took it. I wear that on my head, like a little hat. Yeah. But I think it's true, and I think that my brothers, on the same vein, are the best of the 5 of us, and then of the 6 of us, depending on age.
Because that's what they say, though, like, we stand on the shoulders of many.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, people, like, with the Kylie thing recently, everyone's saying she's not self-made, but you have to start somewhere. And if your sisters have gone through a certain situation, why the hell are you going to do the same thing? So obviously when you come, if you're younger, you're going to come a lot stronger.
I think
on
the same vein as that, it's similar to I believe that I have like a wicked sense of style, and I believe my style is my own. But if you met my sisters, you would see each of the influences and
elements
and you
of
see,
it.
oh, wait, that's her jacket, and that's her. So yeah, it is my own, but it doesn't mean that I haven't borrowed and taken from others.
And that's what life's about, though.
Yeah, completely.
You can't.
It would be really boring if not.
No man's an island. So
No.
So with the you mentioned earlier that you were on the same estate as like Damilola Taylor.
Yeah.
So did that have an impact on you as a child? Like, were you aware of what was taking place around you when he was murdered?
I think that because it was so long ago now. We were like 11. So what is it?
I don't know how long ago it
17
was.
years.
Wow.
I think this year. I think it was 2001.
Flipping hell, I feel
November.
old.
Yeah, it was
What the hell?
November, the end of November.
So being that young, did you actually understand the gravity of the situation, or did you just think like...
I remember I was sick off from school. I was an ill kid. I was always sick and like quite poorly. And I remember I was ill from school on the day that it happened.
Oh, wow.
And then I remember all of the police cars and the tape and the blue lights flashing off of our living room. We're trying to watch the bill or whatever.
Yeah.
And like flashing and that. And then it wasn't until the next day, in the afternoon, that his picture came up on the news. And then I like froze. And my mum was like, "Oh my gosh," because I was at home. She didn't realise I had seen, and she wanted to tell us. And I think the thing that made me realise for lack of a better word, squalor that we lived in was after he died, they came and cleaned up because John Major was coming and Prince Charles was coming.
Oh.
And whoever else.
So you saw the difference from what it was to what it could be.
Exactly. So everything that was broken became fixed in the estate. So like the railings around the grass, and they put the speed bumps in properly, and they added like fire escapes, all in preparation for the media.
That is so crazy because
Yeah.
I'm thinking, so you've got these people living like this.
Yeah.
Clearly, you've got the money to spend to fix it.
Yeah.
And just because Prince Charles is coming down for
Yeah.
probably 5 minutes, you fixed the entire
They painted
area.
everything, all the
And
graffiti.
you neglected it.
Yeah.
And it took someone dying
Yeah.
for that to happen. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And I remember they like put the doors on the bins, on the chutes, and everything was like, that when they steam blast stuff. So I remember the week after walking around and thinking, oh my God, it's so clean. And that's when I thought, wow, so it is dirty. Because imagine where we lived, it was like in the sky.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to leave. There was no reason for you to leave. There was a primary school there. There was a laundrette. There was a chemist. There was a GP. There was a food shop. There was a park in the sky. So essentially, we were just in this. No, it's not a prison. Because you can leave.
It's like a little, I don't know, concrete jungle. What's the word to describe it? Because
so
that's
it was really,
crazy.
Yeah, it was. So we moved out the April after. So November to April, I think 5 months.
Did your family ever, when you look back, was that the reason why you moved?
No, they were knocking down. But the thing is, when
Oh.
they were knocking down the estate, it was really bad. So they added fire escapes for the builders. It wasn't for us, because they were. And then I remember, so when you get those land-ins, but they're almost like balconies.
Yeah.
But they were contained, so the glass went all the way around.
Yeah.
Almost like the airport. Like,
Yeah.
when you get on the plane, but obviously permanent. And I remember me and my brothers were playing out one time, and this is a couple weeks before we moved out, and we were running through the landing, and we were on the 4th floor, and they hadn't blocked off where they had cut where they had knocked the buildings down. So he almost fell like into
Oh my God.
You get all these like stay out of the building sites. Kids.
Yeah.
And I remember them videos that we had. The
Back
little
in the
girl went to
day.
go play and they never saw her again because they poured concrete. Yeah, it was like that, but they
That
didn't.
was potentially
They didn't
your
block
brother.
it.
So how did you feel after that, knowing that your brother came so close?
Now we laugh about it. Like, we only remembered a couple weeks ago.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, so it's mad. And then when we moved into this nice house, the first time we ever got burgled.
Isn't that crazy that you come out of an area that's quote unquote ghetto, plagued with crime, Damilola, and then you get robbed when you move to the posh area?
Exactly.
Interesting. So that kind of brings me on to the question, like, you had all that quote unquote violence around you, living in a rundown estate. Like, how did you manage to focus? Well, I guess you moved out before then.
But it's still Peckham.
How did you manage to stay focused to achieve like your GCSEs and to like excel in college and that? Like, and because I know from interviews I've watched of you in the past that you're an avid reader, and all these things are not things that you expect to hear from a child that grew up in the ghetto.
Do you know, people never actually even believe that I'm from Ends all the time. If I'm there, they don't believe me.
Are you really from the Ends?
Do you know what I'm saying? No, but they never believe me. And even, apparently my accent's different to my siblings and that, but it's not by force. I'm not hiding, this South lingo or anything. I've always just been into books and stuff. I've never really been...
Is that because of your parents, or is it because...
Not really, kinda. Like, my mum was a big reader. My dad's super clever.
Awesome.
He used to do lessons for... I actually met someone the other day at a wireless, and he came up to me, like, rolling up, and he was like, I know you. And I was like, no, you don't. And he was like, your dad used to do lessons in Gloucester Estate, and I used to do lessons with you. So my dad used to do lessons maths lessons and stuff for all the kids in the estate.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, and my mum would, like, make everyone dinner and that. But of my family, 2 of us, so there's 7 siblings, 2 of us have degrees. One of my sisters got 2 degrees, and then I've got the law. And then everyone else kind of went into their own different fields. So my brother's an actor.
So everyone's creative?
Yeah, he's a photographer. We can all draw, which is really weird. But I don't know. I've always really wanted to learn. So I've had that in me. So even when it came to boys and sort of like growing up and going through puberty and all this stuff, I was busy reading Harry Potter. Like, I was really into the story.
Yeah, because you said that you got a boyfriend when you were 19 or something.
19. So I wasn't interested. I used to be
because
so
again,
scared.
that's not the impression of you that you get from quote unquote a ghetto girl.
Yeah.
Because when you look around you kind of expect young people that grow up in the ghetto to have children really young.
Yeah, lots of my friends were
like
young.
Young baby mothers and all of that. So
how? A lot of my friends, but
was it just you just naturally ambitious?
Yeah,
or?
I've always said that if God, God providing I have a daughter, I hope she's like me, Like, usually you're thinking, I hope she's not like me. I know what I used to get up to. But me, I used to stay in my house, reading. Do you know, I used to this is so nerdy, but textbooks.
Yeah.
I used to just type them out on the computer because I found it fun. I saw you roll your eyes just then.
I
found it fun. I'm like a geek.
No, because I'm an avid reader as well. I loved reading when I was growing up. I don't even know how many books I've read in my lifetime. But
no, I don't know.
I don't know about typing out the
last
textbook.
year, to that extent. And I found it really, really fun. I used to go, when they built Peckham Library, I used to go there and just type out textbooks. And I felt really important. Doing so. Obviously, when I studied uni, I grew to hate it. But
didn't type out those textbooks.
No way. But that's it. Yeah, last year, when you say your how many books you've read, last year I had a resolution to read a book a month.
Well done.
For New Year's, and I read a book a week.
Amazing.
I read really fast.
So do I actually. But I find now I haven't I'll say in the past year I haven't really read as much as I normally would.
Life takes over though, innit?
Because life takes over. When I used to read, because I used to work in the city, so I used to always read on the train. Yeah. But now because I drive a lot more.
And just don't read and drive.
Yeah. That would be a lot.
That's legal.
Yeah, I won't do that. But yeah, now that I drive a lot everywhere, and then by the time I get home, I've always got things to do. So I kind of put it off, but I feel like I need to book in time to actually read because it's so important and valuable.
It's good to switch off as well. For me, I read novels mostly. I try to read the non-fiction. I try, but I don't know, man.
No, my guilty pleasure is the American ghetto books. The hood stories.
Coldest winter ever.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I read the whole series.
Have you read Fly Girl?
I haven't read Fly Girl.
Oh, it's about a girl called Tracy, yeah. It's Coldest Winter Ever, but a little bit more kid-friendly.
Have you read all the other? Because I was in love with Midnight. Have you read the Midnight series from Sister Soldier?
Yeah, I have.
Midnight
my sister was going to call her son
Midnight. Look, in my head, that's my man. So
I was like, don't do it.
No, but yeah, I genuinely the hood stories and...
Really?
I can actually... I don't know, I could relate to them because I grew up in East London in quote-unquote the ghetto as well.
Yeah.
So
whereabouts in East did you go?
In Walthamstow.
Ah, isn't that north technically?
No, it's East.
Is it?
E17.
Do you know what, honestly? If it's not South, I don't know.
You know what? You South
people,
Londoners don't, literally, when I was like in uni, probably like a few years back, most of my friends were from South, and I realised it's like a South London thing. It's like you guys are just so comfortable.
We have one tube station, like Brixton, or I guess Oval, but like, you know, that's kind of central to us still.
Like you are so comfortable. There's nothing else on the other side of the water. Like you probably come over to West End, but that's how far as it goes. Yeah. Maybe now you are moving closer to Shoreditch, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But South Londoners just staying there.
I remember when I first started working in radio, I worked on Brick Lane, and I was just flabbergasted by the amount of people, because I thought, oh my god,
there's other people out there. Oh, hello. Hi. Yeah. So then that kind of takes me into like you studied law at uni, like.
Yes.
What made you decide to study law?
Do you know, I don't know. I tell people this a lot, but I don't know if I've said it like recorded before. I was really ill, really, really sick. But I don't like people feeling sorry for me. It makes me angry. Like, it makes me hot behind the eyes. You know, when people look at me and their sympathy. So I'm like, nah, I'm a big woman. So what I did is that I studied a subject that would allow me to have excuses to not be able to go out. So when all of my friends were going raving, and when all of my friends... See, it sounds very calculated, and it is, though. So there was no interest in the subject. There was no, like, oh, yeah. Okay, I watched...
So why didn't
Legally
you want
Blonde.
to go out, though?
Yeah. No, because I couldn't.
Because you were ill?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I watched Legally Blonde, and I thought, well, that looks like fun. And I like Judge Judy. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, all right, I can't go out raving, and I don't really want my friends to be by my bedside, you know, because when you're ill... It's all about the other people, so it's never really about the patient. Like, one thing that I've learned is that when I was sick, and the people that I told, is like they want to start crying, and I'm like, okay, but it's me that it's happening.
Do you know what, my friend?
It's all about the family and the people who are affected.
I kind of get that, but at the time, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So my friend, she had like kidney failure for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But she would never let me come to the hospital to see her.
Yeah.
And I was like, mate, like.
Down.
I want to come and see you. And like we used to literally talk on the phone every single night, so that gave me some comfort. At least I'm like helping her. But now when you mention
it gave you comfort.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, it's honestly the worst thing about being unwell. And eventually, like, I had a huge operation, and hence the scar on my chest, and everyone keeps asking me about it, and like it's annoying on Instagram. But yeah, before that, like, it's ridiculous. Like, I remember. After my operation, I told my friends, like, okay, you can come, yeah. And then they burst out crying. But I'm the one that's sitting in this bed with, like, I can't even pee. Like, there's tubes everywhere. Yeah, it's really awkward for me, right? And everyone's looking at me, and I've lost all this weight, and they're crying. So it's like I couldn't bear the thought of people, like, crying for me or crying for themselves because of me. So law. And it made, because it's a very... Like,
I studied laws because I did business and business law. I actually wanted to be a lawyer myself, so it's weird because our story kind of resonates. But go on.
But you know, like it's like I always had the excuse that I'm studying. I've got this paper to write. I have to go to this place. I can't. If you know what I mean. And it kind of gave me an excuse to, number one, forget about what was happening to me and just focus my energy on something external. And number two, it was just so I didn't have to lie to my mates and that.
That's crazy.
I know it sounds weird when I say it, but it made so much sense at the time.
But then you didn't go to your graduation. So
no, that's long.
Why?
Way.
Is it because you didn't even want to study law in the first place and you were just trying to avoid your friends? Or what? Why?
I didn't really make that many friends at uni. I've only got two people that I still talk to from uni. And it wasn't, for me, I didn't feel like I wasted time. I don't feel like having a degree is a bad thing or a waste of time. Like, I'm very aware of how much my value may increase in other people's eyes because, you know, I'm not just like a silly presenter or whatever. Like, apparently I have substance now. People find out. But it was just that I wanted to hurry up and get on with what else I wanted to do and go into my graduation and, you know, talking to lecturers who don't even know me. Like, the professors don't know me. They don't even know my name. Yeah. And one guy, one of the teachers, one of the guys who led the seminar, he told me that I could never be a lawyer. And I remember him saying it to me because of my tattoos.
That's not nice.
And he's like, well, why are you here? You can never be a lawyer anyway. And then I was like, I don't want to be. I'm just learning, mate. Like, leave me alone. So, you know, like...
I hate when teachers do that, though. It's like, you're supposed to be encouraging me. Like, it's like, mate, if you don't like your job, leave. But don't, like, discourage people. Like, who are you to tell me what I can or can't be?
Yeah, like, I don't think the average teacher is an unhappy person. But when you get... You know, I've had my fair share of bad teachers that who maybe haven't taken to me because obviously they have personalities and they have people they like and dislike, but leave me alone, man. Leave me alone. So, yeah, I didn't go. My dad was a bit annoyed that we didn't go, but he has my degree, so.
Yeah, I know you said he's got it up in the toilet.
Yeah, but it's not even up, though, because when I went to his house the other day...
I was going to ask you, is it still there? Or
I
is
don't
it
know where he put it. It's rude.
It's very rude. So then that kind of brought me on to your favourite quote, to define is to limit. So I'm thinking, did you think that if you pursued a career in law, that was kind of like placing you into a box and limiting you as an individual? Is that...
I think that, yeah. I think that people think because you choose to do something. So I believe, it's a quote from The Portrait of Dorian Gray, which is my favourite book by Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
A lot of people's favourite quotes come from that book. You know that quote, to be spoken about is like a bad thing, but the worst thing in the world is not to be talked about at all.
Yeah.
That's also from that book. So I think that when people saw me studying, they just wrote it off like, oh, she's an academic or whatever. And now when people see what I do, be it DJing or presenting or hosting or whatever it may be, they are always surprised that there's a different dynamic to, be it my personality or, you know, an accolade, which is what a degree is really.
Yeah.
So I like surprising people with it. It's nice that I can hold my own. And I do think, like, putting a definition, putting a name on something, you're limited to that name. So if I told you, you know, oh, I'm a presenter, and then you now saw me DJing at this place, or I told you I'm a presenter, and then you saw me writing for a magazine, wouldn't part of you think, she told me she was a presenter? Do you know what I mean?
But then it's because society tells us, like, there's so many things that, like, society puts us in boxes with whether we like it or not.
And it's exhausting.
And then it's like, for example, there's some quotes that say, you know, you shouldn't just have a plan A, you should have a plan B as well. But on the flip side, there's some that will say, like, you know, if you focus only on plan A, then that will make you great because you're focused on it, you're giving it 100%. Then, but I also think you shouldn't keep all your eggs in one basket. So there's just like, it's confusing if you listen to society half the time.
And like they, whoever they may be, they're talking about, who are they? I don't know. I've never met them. Never heard of them.
Do you know what? I always say that as well, because you know, like when you go on social media and people are like, oh yeah, they don't want me to be successful, or like DJ Khaled, like they like who the is they like who is it? Like, who are you talking to? Because, like, if you're on your social media, hopefully, like, it's your friends and that's following you. Yeah. So, are you, like, indirectly, like, taking a jab at your friends? Or who's they?
Do you know, I think that the way that I kind of navigate, because it affects everyone differently, but I think that people, they look at life as though it's linear. So, A to B. You know? Like, everybody looks at life, well, not everybody, but the average person, what I find, looks at life like it's a ladder. So you just climb up certain rungs and like steps, you know, you go up certain steps. And then if something bad happens or something unfortunate, like say, God forbid, like I lost my show, yeah, or something that I didn't get a second season, or something like that, or if I failed one of my GCSEs and had to do a retake in my next year, apparently that's like going down a rung. But I don't see life like that, and I think it's a bit ridiculous too. I started presenting, I think maybe 10 years after everyone else decided to start presenting, especially with my age as well. Because I've been presenting now for, I think maybe five years. Okay. And I don't see life as a ladder, and there's a top and a bottom. Yeah, I see it as life, and you can go diagonally. You can, like, more like a chessboard, you know? You can go diagonally, you can go up, you can go down, you can go backwards, and you navigate whatever your game is.
But I think it's very much because what comes across is that you're your own person.
But then there's no other option.
But most people are not like that, though, because most people, like, for example, if you grow up in the typical African family, they have your life set out for you. Sometimes parents try to live for their children.
Oh, my dad tried.
Yeah. So it's for you to, like, rebel and then still choose your own direction. That is a big thing. And obviously, because you're that way inclined, you don't think it's a big thing. But for most people, it is. Because, like, for example, when I quit my job last year and I said to my mom, I'm trying to do this creative stuff, she's like,
probably blew her mind.
Like, what? Like, do you mean like you give up your good job and then you're going to do all of this? It's like they can't see it that way. And a lot of parents try to live through their children. Yeah. And then, you know, I think now in 2018, things are changing a lot because the creative industries are given like a lot more kudos than they was before. Yeah. And obviously jobs like being a lawyer and being an accountant and all these things are being replaced by technology. So people now understand the importance of, you know, being an entrepreneur and thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, and being yourself.
and being yourself. And that's something that you're really good at. So I'm just thinking, like, how did that come about? Is it because you have like your siblings who boost you, or is it your parents?
I think it's like it's a plethora of things. I do think my siblings help. They are wicked, man. They're actually really nice, and people are really surprised. Like, even you see my niece is over there. Like, she just, I don't know what she's doing, emailing. I'm not sure, but you know, like, we are really close, and we lost our mum really.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
really
that.
early. Like, my mum, it's like 10 years almost. So there was, you know, it's either get together or just don't speak to each other. And I do think that there's an awkward phase when it comes to siblings between, especially in like, because I'm from like a Nigerian household, so that I can only give you my own experience.
Yeah.
But I'm 5 years younger than my sister, who's older than me, and she has always told me what to do for the whole of my life. In my family, the eldest ones are the ones who get the respect. If I'm asleep and she wants me to go shop, I need to wake up and go shop. Like, there's no option. There's no I'll go later. There's no, like, I'm the one who'll get in trouble, even if I'm asleep. Yeah. And she wants me to go shop. The same way that if I want my brother to do something, he'll do it for me. He's 3 years younger than me. He'll do it for me. So there's an awkward phase where you all become adults.
That's
and
true.
You can't really be sending a 25-year-old to the
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
Because they're going to look at you like, I don't even live here. I came to visit you. Are you out of your mind? So with that, I think that we were all forced to go through that journey when my mum passed away. So in a way, it brought us closer together. I know quite a few people who, like, the glue of their family, passes away, and then it's chaos. And for a while, you know, we've had our ups and downs and all this sort of stuff, but
it's just normal.
We've come at the end of it, and I've got like best friends. I go on holiday with my sisters. I go on holiday with my brothers. I hang out with my siblings. I'm gonna go see them later. Like,
That's
we
really
go and
cool.
like, we take each other to dinner. We take each other away. We have each other's kids all the time. So it's like, they're just, my friends are an extension of my family, and my family are an extension of my friends, and and everything's kind of blurred. And I think that does help me because, you know, they know me.
It's almost giving you what everyone would look for in their mum, but within
there's 6 of
this
them.
unit, that you've built.
Exactly. And also, like, they, you know, it's rare that you find somebody in London who, you know, loses their mum, my age, my friends. That hasn't happened. I don't know anybody else.
Yeah.
So I've got these other people who have experienced it with me. And also, it's like, I'm a believer of, I know life is short, but it's long. Like, if you pick a job and you're going to be doing it, it's going to be like 50 years, man. You know? I need to do something that is not going to make me crazy, and it's not going to make me upset. And especially the job that I have picked, it takes over my life. Like, we finished work and we're here today doing this, by choice.
Yeah.
I go to radio and that's my job, like 5 days a week. But I don't just wake up at 5 p.m. and go to radio and then go sleep at 11 p.m. I do things in the day.
Yeah.
I do other stuff. And if I don't enjoy what I do, and if I'm not fully immersed in it, then I don't see the point. I don't do things by halves, you know. I can't even get one tattoo. It's like, everything I do is over the top, you know. I don't know if you know, but I change my hair all the time. You may not recognize
Yeah, I've
me
seen
today.
that. I didn't know what you were going to come like today.
You know what I'm gonna look
It's
like?
nice.
You know, it's like, it's go hard or go home with me.
Yeah,
and that's
so
just my nature.
From other interviews that I've watched of you in the past, you said that you, like, it's almost like your job found you because you didn't set out to. Obviously,
No, I never.
you studied
I didn't
law.
Even know, I didn't even know this was a job. I'm telling you right now. I remember being in Superdrug, and they've got their own radio station, And this woman, I remember, it's in Paddington, and this woman on the radio, Superdrug FM, was like, oh yeah, that's such a tune from Ollie Murs, and it's 2 for 1 on mascara, and I was like, she's having a whale of a time. That's the best job ever. And that's when I first thought, oh, like, radio could be fun. Obviously, I didn't go down the Superdrug FM route, but it's like, I love talking, obviously. More than that, I like to connect with people. I'm not in this weird game to be Beyonce. I'm not going to be Beyonce. I'm very happy and cool with the fact that I'm not Beyonce. I met Beyonce. She's fabulous. That's the closest I'm going to get to being Beyonce. And I just want to connect with people and learn something with the audience or with a person, talk to somebody one-on-one, talk to a group of people, or teach people something. It's that connection, that human connection that I kind of crave.
Good.
And that's what draws me, excuse me, that's what drew me and still continues to draw me to this career path, because be it talking to you today, having this conversation, or talking on radio to X amount of people, or people watching a TED Talk, or me hosting an event, or me talking to camera on telly, or whatever it is, it's still that somebody's going to watch this and learn something, or they're going to be left with a question or ask something, if you know what I mean.
Inside conversation in some way.
Exactly.
So then, like, you started off at Rinse FM, you were there for what, about 4 years? Was it 4 years?
3 years, 4 years.
So you were working. So you were working there, kind of like voluntarily. Like, what made you stay on for so long? Because I know you were saying like you would get there at like, I don't know, 6:30, and then you're there for a certain amount of time. But then you had a pub job after that. So
that was hard.
That takes dedication.
Yeah, so it was fun, and I didn't realise at the time, but I was learning such valuable skills. You know, even time management is a really valuable skill that I learned at Rinse. And Rinse are sick, man. Like, I know I say that I didn't get paid a lot and all that stuff, and it's true, you know. But they're a community station, and they put somebody on the radio who didn't have any experience. Yeah. All I wanted to do was chat. That's all I wanted to do.
So I was going to ask you, like, the first time that you went on air,
I was shook,
like,
I played the same song twice in a row accidentally. And then my boss at the time texted me, he was like, "You're right." I was like, "I'm shook, man." He was like, "You've played the same song twice." And I said to him, it's even there, ready to go again.
So how did you make that transition from being an intern to then getting your show?
Well, like, I auditioned to be on the station. They really liked me. Obviously, I had no experience. I was in the building for a little bit. And then Julie she was there, Adenuga, she was there doing Drive. And she kind of taught me the basics of what I know about radio. Yeah. Rinse is sick because at the time when I joined, Tania, who now works on Kiss, was there. Julie, Adenuga was there, and Cyan was there.
So it was a good, like, starting point for
and then I
you.
Came, and then Maya came.
Nice.
And then who else? There's somebody else, I'm sure. Watch, I'm gonna go home, and then they're gonna text me and be like, "You forgot about me." But, so there's like, so there's and Snoochie.
Wow, so all of you
Poet
started
was on
there.
Rinse, so was David. Loads of us that have been on Rinse. So they really know unfiltered talent when they see it. You know, obviously me. No, but also, like, come on, look how sick like Maya is, and look how sick.
Yeah, all of
like,
you
Julie
are amazing.
And Cyan, and everyone's doing so amazing.
So they've got a good eye for talent.
Yeah, we came from exactly the same place, and it was just like an amazing place to learn, to grow. They let us run riot a little bit, but even doing interviews and going go-karting with Route 94, I got whiplash that day. And I went bumper cars with KTB. And me and Lethal B took the Sky cars over the O2. Nice. Just, fun things, just finding my feet as a presenter.
That's dope.
It was
wicked.
And
then when you look back, you can say that you've got all of these experiences.
That you didn't, at the time, I had no idea that I was setting myself up to do what I'm doing now and hopefully what I'm going to be doing in the future, if you know what I mean. It was just... like, actually a sick time. If I think about it, like, a little tear, a little nostalgia comes, and I think, that was... Rinse are amazing, and even now they've got, like, a whole bunch of new presenters.
Because that's the thing, though, I've always felt, and that's something that we really champion on the podcast, is that sometimes you have to be willing to work for free, because when you're starting out, like, you don't really have that much to offer. Like, you need to gain the skills, so you can't go into every situation thinking, I need to get paid straight away.
No,
because you miss out on the experiences. But sometimes also more valuable.
You need to know when the time comes to ask for money as
Definitely.
well. I think that I waited maybe a little bit too long before I realised my worth. Maybe with Rinse, the reason why they're so amazing is because, have you noticed that all the people I said are women? And
that's true, actually.
That if you've noticed, people always just say, like, "Oh, how come it's always girls? Always moaning." Yeah, and now they're mad popular for it. Like, they even hosted a stage at Wireless Festival where it was a female only stage with Smirnoff.
Dope.
But Rinse have been doing this. Was
it, like, intentional, do you think, for them, or it's just the talent that presented
itself? They just thought, "Oh, you guys are sick. Come on."
Yeah.
And there was a lot of guys on Rinse too, but most of the presenters were female. And there were quite a few female DJs there too. But I'm happy that it's trendy now. There's some trends, that I get annoyed with, and I think, "Oh, stop doing challenges, stop it, just allow it." But when it comes to equalising things and to making a stand, when it comes to Me Too, Black Lives Matter, women, equality, I want people for it to be a trend.
Scream that. Okay, so what made you leave Rinse? Was it because an opportunity presented itself? Were you approached by Capital Extra, or did you have to apply for it?
There. Yeah, I went. It was like mutual for me to go, not for Rinse. But so basically, I did the breakfast show and the breakfast show on any station is the biggest show. So essentially at Rinse I just reached the glass ceiling, and it is a platform and it is a very cool way to start, but ultimately, you know, you have to keep growing and you have to keep doing
Definitely.
more. And I think that if I had stayed, I don't think I'd be in the position that I'm in now. When you're on a bigger station, bigger listenership, more
bigger
opportunities,
platform,
bigger platform. So it's like, it was with a heavy heart that I was like, oh, I have to go.
It
I was
probably,
shook as well.
even though I think Capital Extra would be quote unquote an urban station,
Yeah, but
it
it's
still
commercial.
took you out of that urban category, which
Yeah.
might have been better for your career, because
Yeah.
sometimes you can, like, actors get typecast. I guess it's the same for DJs. You get
Yeah.
put into that box
Completely.
and then everyone thinks that you only listen to like black music, you only
Yeah.
associate with black people, and
Yeah.
then it limits the opportunities that are available to you. So it's probably
Definitely.
like one of the best decisions you made for yourself.
Yeah, and I love being at Capital Extra. They're wicked. Like, honestly, it's actually really fun.
It actually sounds like fun.
It's so jokes.
Because every presenter that's working at Capital Extra, because sometimes I was going to ask you, is it like forced, or are you guys just genuinely happy to be there? Because it doesn't matter if it's in the morning,
Yeah.
like breakfast show, the energy level is always high.
Well, I've got mad energy anyway, so like, you know, that's just that. But I think it's normal. No, some people are more sarcastic. I think I'm quite like sarcastic and like shady. I realise when I listen to my show sometimes that I might offend people, but it's
I think
really
you're
fun.
saying what most of us are thinking
Yeah,
in
I hope
most
so.
situations. Yeah, so
But I think it's fun. I think it's fun because it's a job. Like, it's hard, but it's really rewarding. So because we have these like listen back sessions, yeah, I used to be really scared of them
what with like
with
the
your boss and that.
Oh, really?
So, like, what they do, yeah. Oh, like,
that's crazy.
Listen, like they don't know this, yeah, and if they listen, they're gonna laugh, yeah, because like for the first year, I was shook, man. Like of these listen back sessions. So when I first started,
It makes sense now that you mention it.
yeah, of course.
But I didn't even think about that before. Yeah, that's true.
I think Capital Extra has like 1.7 million listens a week.
Dope.
So like, you could imagine me going on there just swearing. That, you know, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because they can't physically listen to every single
Episode.
hour
It's like a
of
quality check.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they just more times someone's listening because lots of people work in the building. But like, I listen to Capital Extra all the time, and I listen to the other global stations too. And only the global stations.
Just saying.
just so you know. But yeah, so I was shook, yeah, because imagine they sit you in like a little studio, yeah, and they play an hour of you back to you without the music, so just you talking. And then,
What, they don't play the music?
no, so like, you have the music underneath you, but not
Okay.
the tunes that you played in between. So if you
Okay.
spoke 5 times that hour, it's like 5 links. If you spoke 4 times, whatever. And it's a really good way to hear what you sound like, because obviously you're talking every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, however long it is. So I realised that, like, I always say, playing this for you all the time, every time. But I didn't clock because I can't hear myself do it.
Yeah.
So it's a good way for them to know what the vibe of the show is like, how you're sounding, for you to hear any habits that you
Yeah.
have and how to switch it up and that. But I've never really had a bad one. They've always been quite nice.
It's true, because like Ryan and I, we're not presenters, so this is new for us as well. So one of the things that we always find ourselves doing, we actually discussed that this week,
Yeah.
is like when someone that we're interviewing goes off on a tangent and we're just like, anyway, we digress, but then that can come across rude, but you don't realize
No, because you're just talking.
what you're saying
Yeah.
in the moment. So it's really good. Like, even though it's probably scary as hell, like, it's still worth it because you want to improve at your craft, right?
Exactly. No, and it makes you better so much quicker than just going on and on and on. Literally, it's like a fast track. And I always say to people when they're like, "Oh, how do I get better? Please help." I'm like, listen to yourself. Oh, no. I was like, well, okay, don't then. But you have to listen
it's
to
necessary because you have to be able, and it's not even just listening to yourself, it's just the ability to self-reflect.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you have to look back at yourself and think, like, did I behave the right way in that situation?
Honestly, but if you listen, yeah, like, as in, if you're on radio, yeah, and you play yourself back to you, it's very difficult to listen to. But in a good way, because you're your worst critic, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're your harshest critic.
I agree.
And you'll any bad habit, you'll hear them immediately. Even sometimes they'll be playing it back to me, and I'm like, oh, did they hear that? I heard that. Sometimes they don't catch it though. I'm like, whew.
Yeah. So I was listening to your interview, like, with Sean Paul, when you were, like, covering the breakfast show. Do you ever find yourself, like, fangirling over any of the guests? Like, have you ever had that moment?
No. People ask me that a lot, you know. I've interviewed so many people now. It's so weird to think that, you know, this time 2 years ago, I hadn't interviewed anybody, not on that scale. At Rinse, it was mostly UK people. But no, I've never been nervous going into an interview. There's been times when I haven't been as excited as other times if I don't know as much about an artist or if I'm not as much of a fan as somebody. But those are often the times that surprise me most. So I'll go
about
into
the person, or
yes, I'll go into an interview with someone thinking, oh, lunchtime, and then an hour later we're like cracking jokes, exchanging numbers, going to Nando's because we just had an amazing time. So
because even like when you were speaking to Sean Paul, like it just came across like the conversation that we're having now. Like you were telling him about patties or something.
Yeah,
What happened? I was trying to figure out like what was the story behind
what
that.
happened. Yeah, was this is the third time that I've met him for Capital Extra, so we have like a good rapport.
Yeah.
And a few weeks before that interview, a box of patties, gets sent to the third floor, which is the floor that we're on.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are minimal people, of Afro or Caribbean descent on that floor, okay?
Yeah.
And I am one of some. Why did all the patties get eaten before I got there?
But was that Sean Paul's fault?
Why didn't he send enough? This is what I'm saying.
Or was he the one that actually sent them?
Because he sent the patties.
Yeah.
And I thought you could have just put, like, Yinka on one. And that's what I was saying to him. I was like, because I just feel like I was personally attacked because of the time that I start work. So everyone had their lunch and had seconds.
Bless.
I got to work and also it was flakes and crumbs. And I thought, this is rude.
Sweet.
So I pulled him up on it.
So he's got to
when
send
he
you
came.
another box.
He hasn't, though. It's been a couple of weeks.
So he's not a man of his word then.
Do you know what? People just say things on air.
We'll just get this girl to just be quiet, yeah. So then you were talking about like this weird fan moment, because obviously now, I don't know if you see yourself as a celebrity, but other people might do. So you spoke about a weird fan moment when this girl ran up to you when you was at a club or something in an interview.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen her again?
No. Thank God. No, I don't think that I have the right to call myself a celebrity. I don't think I'll ever be a celebrity. I don't think.
But don't you think that you have fans? Because what defines a celebrity? A celebrity is a celebrated person, right?
Yeah.
And you're in the public eye.
Yeah.
So for the most part,
But I don't think I'm in the public eye that
not
much.
like Beyonce level,
No, but I don't think that many people look at me for it to be a celebrity. You look at me funny.
what about through social media? No, because it's probably because you're humble. You know, there's loads of people, like if you look at the amount of followers that you have on social media, if we get into the whole social influencer game,
Yeah.
a lot of people will say like, oh, you're doing really well in that respect.
Yeah, but it's not real though. Like, it is real. I understand it's real. I get it. It's real now. Yeah, we live in a virtual world. I understand.
Yeah.
But I just think that I meet celebrities and I interact with them.
But what makes them a celebrity in your eye?
I think the amount of people who recognise them. For me, somebody's a celebrity if, like, my aunt or my dad or my sister who's a midwife knows who they are. To a certain extent. Like, that's like proper... Like, you know, the day that my dad started rapping Man's Not Hot, Michael Depp was a celebrity. Because that's true. You know, when your mum's talking about Stormzy, household name.
Yeah.
I know that there
agree.
are different tiers of celebrity, A to Z, and then all the grammar list celebrities. But for me, my aim is never to be somebody who people are, like,
You don't want to
fans
be
of.
famous.
Yeah, but obviously I want people to be a fan because I want you to listen to my show. Of course I do. But I don't want... I think maybe I'm just like... Maybe I'm being a bit sexy with it. So like, I want it, but I don't want it. But,
give it to me, but take some of it back.
No, but don't get me wrong. It's like when people recognise me, it's lovely. Like, I get a bit awkward. I do get awkward. I'm getting better. But when people recognise me, it's lovely because I think, oh, wow, you know, at least I'm not talking to myself every evening. This is lovely. Because ultimately, it's just me and a microphone and many, many TV screens. So I'm happy when people do recognise me, and I'm happy when people listen to my show or watch something that I do or have find me funny or, you know, it's lovely.
Yeah.
But then... You know, on the flip side of that, it can turn, and I'm very worried because, you know, like with all the stuff that happened with Black Maya and all
that's
this,
true.
Yeah, and it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't think I've ever said anything. I don't believe.
But it's not. Sometimes it's how things can be misconstrued.
Yeah, no,
because like
definitely.
if you see like a 5-second clip of a conversation without seeing its full
In
context,
yeah.
you can hate someone.
of course.
And that's what they do on social media all the time.
And it's like, so I'm very aware that with my growing influence,
Yeah.
followers, fan base, whatever you want to call it, that there is there's leeway for people to switch on you, and there's room for people to decide to not support you and be so like, imagine it takes you 10 years to become Instagram famous and 10 seconds for them to start bullying you.
Yeah.
I'm not on it.
So what do you think about, like, when you see like a young celebrity? So someone like Rihanna has always been like adamant that she doesn't want to be a role model.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being considered as a role model?
Well, I think I dress too revealingly. Because even with my niece, she just got Instagram and she asked me to follow her, and I did, and then I regretted it. Because I thought, obviously she sees me in real life, so she sees me get dressed and all this sort of stuff, but I think there's too much pressure to, like, Jesus is a role model. Like, I'm not.
Because sometimes I feel like some people, like, you're just doing you, you're just being yourself. You don't want to be a role model as such.
It's flattering though. Like, some people, quite a few people have said that to me. I think maybe because I carry myself in a way that doesn't seem really silly, I guess. But that it's a heavy, crown to bear to be a role model, because then essentially you're not going to be judged based on what you do if you're worthy or not of this accolade that other people have now given you. Because I didn't say that I was.
And that's the thing, though. Role model means different things to different people.
Exactly.
So how do you live up to everyone's expectations
which
while still learning about life yourself? Because you're still growing and you're making mistakes.
Yeah, so it goes back to just be yourself, man. Like, it's just like, for me, I don't see any other option, because if people want to emulate or appreciate what I do, I would rather it be me than me thinking, oh, is this good enough for you? Is that good enough? Oh, can I help? What can I do? Oh, how can I change? Because then the thing that people are looking up to, or this image that I'm putting out there, would be a fallacy. And
then what?
Then everybody's getting lied to. So
So working at Capital Extras afforded you some really amazing experiences, like playing the wireless stage and things like that. Have you always been a DJ? Because, like, when we did the interview with Jay London, I'd never really thought about the fact that you guys are not necessarily DJs, you're presenters when you work on Capital Extra.
Yeah, so Capital
So
Extra
it's not, so it's like, but I think, someone in the public, we don't really understand the radio setup.
The button and then
so
the
we
decks,
think, so we actually think that you're the one, like, controlling the music. And I know that there's, like, producers, engineers there with you.
No,
so
we're by ourselves.
You're by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you go from being a DJ to a presenter? Or did you go from a presenter to being a DJ? Which one was it?
I think they can come hand in hand. So I learnt to mix when I was at Rinse.
Okay, cool.
There's a guy called DJ Odin. He is the DJ for Rizzle Kicks and Michael Payne.
Okay.
And we're really good friends. He taught me the basics of what DJing is. Like, this is what a song sounds like. This is the button that you press. Come on, Yinka, you can do it. And then there's a guy called SK Vibe Maker who helped me, who's currently on Rinse. He does, I think he does early afternoons, late mornings on Rinse now, full time. And they helped me, and then I just took it from there. And there's loads of facilities at Rinse and at Capital for you to practice. And then when I joined Capital Extra, now looking back, it was really soon. But when I got there, it felt like it was a long time. So my show started in September. So it's almost my 2-year anniversary now. And it was at the 19th. Thank you. It was the 19th or the 18th of September, a Monday. And then October, I opened for Craig David at a Capital Extra event, because they already knew that I was a DJ. So that was my first DJ booking for Capital Extra. Yeah. Which was opening for Craig David at a party. But it was broadcast live, so everyone got to hear me mix. Yeah. I believe, hopefully. I probably can. and then the next May we had our first Capital Extra event, which was called Reloaded Live. And then
was Reloaded Live around for that long?
Yeah, it's almost it's just over a year old.
Oh, cool.
So and then we've done 3 of them. We've done Brunch and Beats, which I played at. So I play at all the Capital Extra events as a DJ. Okay. So it kind of comes hand in hand for me. And being on a national commercial radio station means that I'm able to get bookings, which are bigger. So I played at... Do you remember when Usain Bolt lost last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a shame. I played at the closing party for that, though.
Oh, really?
So I thought, I'm going to watch Usain Bolt. Yes! He lost. Yes. Yeah. But at least I got to see him run, I guess. Yeah. And... so I played at, like, the athletics closing party. There was like 7,000 people there or something.
Amazing.
So you do get to do cool DJ bookings, but, like, for me it just goes hand in hand, because Capital Extra have always booked me. And if somebody's looking for a DJ and they go to Extra, they'll be like, oh, Yinka or Manny or one of the presenters.
That's really cool.
Mix. Yeah.
So what would you say is the main difference between, because obviously when you're on the radio, you're talking to millions of people every day. But what's the difference between like playing on the radio and playing live to like a large crowd? Do you ever get intimidated by that, or is it still the same?
It's easier when
for
you're
you?
by yourself because you don't know if people are not enjoying it, so you can just assume that everyone loves you. When you're playing live to people, I remember, oh my gosh, in May we had a Reloaded event in Brixton, and then everyone was dancing while I was playing, and there was this guy, yeah. Like, he's such a hater, man. Like, you know, every party has a pooper, you know? And he was the ant at my picnic, yeah? He was in the middle of the dance floor. And
in the middle as well.
Every time I spoke on the mic, so obviously I'm like, it's Reloaded, who's with me? And everyone's like, and I'm like, yeah, you are. And then I would be like, oh, make sure you use the hashtag Reloaded, get on our wall, because we had this interactive wall behind us.
Dope.
Every time I spoke, he would roll his eyes. So he's dancing, yeah, doing the Dougie, yeah? And then he's like, oh.
Oh, but he was actually dancing,
Yeah, but then
though.
when I spoke, he'd stop. He stopped dancing, yeah, and rolled his eyes like, oh, shut up. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to talk. I have to. And then when Robert Bruce would talk, he wouldn't roll. I was watching him, yeah, I clocked him for the whole night. He didn't roll his eyes. When Manny Norte's on the mic, yeah, going, the names you can trust, ow, yeah. He's like,
He's just a hater then.
Hating on me. Hating.
Hate
So
on
like,
your
you know, you can spot people when they think that you can't see them. I can see you, man, who's rolling your eyes every time I talk. I can see you.
Clearly. Next time I'm in the dance, I'm not
I know
gonna
what
make
he looks like. If I saw him again,
no eye
yeah,
contact with the DJ.
if I saw him again, I could put him out in a lineup. I could. If you put people in front of me, I could tell you.
That's crazy.
You hurt my feelings, man.
Papa zoomed in on him. Yeah, so like literally, like I listen to Capital Extra every day, and like before I
Yay.
started doing the podcasting, like I never really used to pay attention. Not that I don't listen to what the presenters say, but I never used to really pay attention to how you say what you do.
Yeah.
So then now that I'm doing this, I've realized like, did they teach you how to do like the intros and the outros?
No,
Because
no.
it almost comes like you'd say something that you're lining up the track, and most of the time it's really funny.
Yeah.
But is that something that just comes naturally, or is that
Yeah.
something that you're taught?
No, they don't teach you. You kind of have to have that in order to be on the radio anyway. So that's the thing that the common thread that everyone has is being able to deliver concisely. Different stations are different. You know, on Kiss, they talk for like 10 seconds, don't they? It's quite, pshoo, pshoo, pshoo. On Radio 1, they talk for ages. With us, I think we're kind of in the middle. So I definitely have the leniency to stretch my foot a bit and get into a link and talk a little bit more. But I still try to be punchy. But it's something that you learn over time. I listen to radio all the time. I know I said I only listen to global stations, but I listen to other stations too. But it's just to hear the way people sound.
Definitely.
You know, if I like it, if I don't like it, why don't I like it? What about that person is irritating me right now during this link? Or I like what they said. How would I say it if it was my link? How would I put my spin on it? Or I think, oh, I like that bit of content, but they went on for too long.
Yeah.
You know, you can... Like now, I can't really listen to radio just for the you know. It's
So like back in the day, I noticed that Capital. So maybe it's just a breakfast show though, but they used to do like a lot of games and things like that.
Yeah,
Are you
breakfast shows
given-
are quite content heavy.
Yeah, are you given the leverage to add anything like that to your show, or?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess when I do cover breakfast, it's more of a let's do this and let's do that and let's do this, because you are able to talk and talk and talk. When I'm on in the evening, I do interview people, so that's quite fun.
Yeah.
But most of the time, my personality is better like for social commentary. So I'll see like what people are up to.
So you talk a lot about Twitter.
Yeah.
and
So like,
things
I talk
that.
about what artists are up to. So for instance, somebody left a rose on one Ason's car, yeah, and he's like, "Oh my god, look, I got a secret admirer," and I'm like, "Yeah, but like they know where you live though, because you parked your car outside your house, yeah, so you shouldn't be so happy." You need to be
Good
careful.
point.
Where
Good point.
So
I
that's
like the sarcasm that you bring to it as well.
yeah. I'm a troll basically. So it's just everyone has their own flavour. Everyone's different. I feel like I'm kind of cheesy without being cheesy. Maybe because it's just it comes from within. It's
Naturally
like
cheesy.
organic cheese.
You joker.
You know, like so.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what's your favorite thing about like being a presenter and like working at like Capital Extra? Is it interviewing celebrities? Is it
I like interviewing.
presenting?
It can get tiring sometimes. Only because like sometimes, yeah, the people don't have much to say. So like most of the time they come and they're alive, they've had a bit of coffee,
Yeah.
we're vibes in. But then you get once in a while where someone just comes and they're looking at you, and I'm like, listen, you're making me look bad, man.
What do you do in that situation
I
though?
just
Like,
stop. I just stop and ask them to, like, if you want to carry on, we can carry on. If not, you can go, man. You can
Really?
go. Yeah, because, like, the thing is, if a bad interview goes out, essentially that makes me a bad host, doesn't it? Like, I didn't
Are the
answer.
interviews always pre-recorded then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That makes it better then.
Yeah, like, because imagine if you watch an interview and it's just dry, the first thing you're going to think is, the presenter didn't ask the right questions. You know?
But how do you so what if it's someone that management really wanted to be on the show, but then when you're interviewing them, they're just there, then you're just like...
But that happened before.
And then what do you say to, like, management?
I asked if we can stop the interview, and we stopped. And I said, do you want to be here? And then they were like, yeah. I was like, no, it doesn't sound like it. I said, because, you know, if you don't want to be here, we can both leave, and then, like, I get an extra couple of minutes before my show, you get to go home, you know? Or we can start again and just do the interview, because ultimately it's not fun to listen to if you don't bring anything. And
what was their reaction?
They said sorry. Just be honest with people, innit?
Don't you think that can potentially come across like rude?
But I'd rather come across rude for 5 seconds and then it'd be better and do it honestly than pretend if it's okay and then talk about them forever. Like, imagine now I haven't told you who it is, but if they were like a bit of an arse, I would probably be saying their name and be like, this person, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So and it went well, and the interview did like loads of views. I think it's on like a couple 100,000. So it's like...
So what about, it could be sometimes where, because we found like through doing the show as well, a lot of the people who are up and coming, they find it difficult to warm up because they've never done it before. This is your option
to sell yourself. That's what I was saying, you know what, before we started, and I was saying that, like, you can't allow nerves. And I know this is a difficult lesson to learn. And don't get me wrong, my nerves have sabotaged me before in the past, which is why I refuse to be worried about things. Because you can't allow nerves or worry or, like, you know, the need to warm up or go to the bathroom and start singing and then come back ready. Because if you allow it to... This is the only chance you get. Like, imagine if I came to this podcast, and I wasn't on my game. And then somebody listened to this podcast and that person could have given me a really good job, but I was too scared in this podcast. I would never know of the opportunity do you know what I mean? That I missed out on. Imagine if you have an interview with somebody and you didn't know the person in the room was also looking to hire and manage you, but they didn't do it because you have no idea who's listening. You have no idea who's in the room. You have no idea
That's a very good
of the
point.
opportunities that you could potentially missing out on because you're shook. And imagine the reason you didn't make it, is because you were shook.
Not because you're not good enough, but because you were shook.
I remember when I first started at Extra, I was so scared, I used to be like, it's Capital Show, I didn't hear, scream on air and speak so fast.
But how did you get over it?
I had a producer at the time, and he said to me, do you know you've already got the job? And I was like, what? He's like, why are you so scared? And I was like, I'm so shook. And he's like, stop being scared. He was like, the only reason you would lose your job is if you don't improve, And he's like, not to say that you haven't improved, you are, but what's the point of being scared? And I was like, I could take time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't... Imagine, if I was like, come on my show, and you're there sweating, shaking, on mic, like, you're never going to come back. It doesn't matter how funny you are. It doesn't matter if I like you when you're off air. If it doesn't translate... If what you're doing doesn't translate, imagine if you want to be a singer and every time you try to go on stage, you want to be vomiting. No one's going to come to your show.
But I think it's one of them things, though. It's like, it's controlling, like, your monkey mind.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times when you go into... So even, for example, when I saw you on Instagram, and I was thinking, I'd love to have Yinka on the show because I like your personality on air and etc. And I just thought... let me just slide in her DMs. Like, the most you can say is no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think a lot of the times we overthink things and you overthink it. So then you miss out on opportunities because you're telling yourself all these reasons that why the person will say no. You haven't even had the conversation with that person yet.
Do you know how many things that I've done that haven't worked out? Yeah. Because I don't know how many things I've done. I don't know. So many. Shot pilots for this. Done screen tests for that. Spoke to this person. Been promised this by that person. If I let that, like... one bad thing or one rejection or the fear of rejection get to me, then I wouldn't even be on rinse. I literally one day was like, can I have a show, please? And they were like, okay, just think about it. Do you know, like, if you don't
ask, you don't get.
And it's not about shooting your shot and being like, hey, I'm shooting my shot. No, like, go and do it. And when people say to me, I get a little bit frustrated sometimes because people ask me how to get on radio and stuff, and I say, like, I've been doing this and like I built up enough of a skill set to get onto Extra, but still, since I've been there, I've improved so much. Like, they really do invest in talent, and the way that they've worked with me, because they gave me a producer when I first arrived, and he really helped me. Like, every link he was telling me like what was good, what was bad. So it was essentially like
Learning on the go.
Yeah, do you remember the sessions I told you about, the snoops that we have?
Yeah.
It was like having that live each show. So it helped me hone my voice on radio.
Okay, yeah.
So I know that I have been afforded a lot of help, but it's because I asked for it when I first joined the station. And I was trying to be really good at what I do.
Yeah.
So when people ask me, like, how do they be a presenter? I'm like, well, what do you do already? And they're like, oh, no, I want to start. I'm like, so you don't do a podcast? No. Do you have a YouTube? No. Do you... So...
That reminds me of something that Steve Harvey said, because he was saying, like, obviously when you're in LA, you get loads of, like, whenever you go to a restaurant or anything, like, you always get, like, people coming up to you saying, Mr. Harvey, like, I'm an actress. But he's like, no, you're a waitress. If you're not doing any acting, you're a waitress.
Obviously, I understand the circumstances and you have to eat. Yeah, I get that, yeah. And I'm not like, look at me. I was being a waitress and I was presenting. I'm not, no, but I'm just saying that
you
if
have
you
to
really
do
want to
something.
You will find the time. And that's what I learned. I learned that time... We all have the same 24 hours in a day, and how you use it is how you use it. Yes, it will yield different results depending on your circumstances. But I remember when, like, now I thought I was tired. Like, and even you reminded me today when I thought, oh, I'm kind of tired when I came here. And then you reminded me that I used to work in the pub. And I thought, oh my God, I remember when I was tired. That's
true, real tiredness.
That's true sleepiness, you know? That's fatigue. See what I'm saying? It's like, but if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have been able to present.
Yeah.
Like, even my brother's an actor, and he works in a bar as well. But he works in a bar so that he can do his acting properly. So he can eat, he can survive, but then this is his passion.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that he's gone to get a full-time job and then he's going to forget about his dream.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that. But if you're not willing to do, like you said before, if you're not willing to do what you want to do for free, why should you get paid for it?
Exactly.
Start a YouTube channel, like.
Yeah, do you know what? With social media and all the platforms and all the opportunities that are available to people these days, there's no excuse. Which kind of brings me to one of your blog posts.
Yeah.
So it's the one that was titled, It's Me, Not You, probably? When you were talking about how people kind of use you and, you know, there's loads of people which I assume will come up to you and say, oh, Yinka, like, I want to get on the radio, or people who suddenly start treating you differently because now that you're on the radio. So how do you navigate around those people? Like, have you learned your lesson, or are you still, like, learning
Well, I don't
as
think
you
I
go?
learned, you know, because I thought, no new friends.
No.
And then now, like, one of my besties, I only met her in, like, last August. So we had an intern at Capital Extra. My show had an intern. Her name's Remy,
You only met Remy last year? No way.
And that's my homie, you know.
Like every single time I'm on your profile, it's like Remy. I thought you sort of like knew each other for years.
This is the
That's
thing,
dope.
Like, she's actually made me have a new faith in people, but also not, because I think she's special. So I met her in August. I believe it was August of last year. She worked for 3 months at Capital Extra, and then I just kept her. Like, I was just like, can you stay? And now she works because she does freelance at Capital Extra, and she's got a show on Represent, and she's a presenter and a DJ herself. But so she's kind of made me a bit more relaxed there about the using thing. But also it's also made me still worried because not everybody's like her. So that blog post was aimed at, I think it was like 2 people who'd really annoyed me.
Yeah, because I saw like a tweet in there where you said that someone was like bullying you online, and then it turned out to be your mate. And I was like, that's deep.
Yeah. That was that. Obviously,
was it that under an alias or?
Yeah. So like it was like a catfishy type thing.
That's sick.
Which was bizarre. And I always, when I tell people the story, they look at me like I'm the crazy one, and I'm like, no, I didn't know it was happening. Yeah. So what happened was, I remember being at radio and always getting these tweets, and they weren't always bad, but you know, member of the Hot Girl Society or something like that. Yeah, weird. She's probably listening, man. Like, she's probably listening.
She'll listen to this when it's out.
Can you see I'm mad reluctant to say because I just feel like she's probably going to be listening.
You don't have to say it.
Whatever. No, it's all calm, but like, I just find it so like. Ugh.
No, but it's scary because you know what scares me is when you're around people so often and then they do things like this and you wonder like, did I even know you? Like, who are you?
And also, this was like a friend, who was in my house every day. Like, when I say bestie, I mean going on holidays all the time, doing all this stuff, and then it just turns out that she was just a bit mental. And then I dated somebody, who was even crazier. So I thought, you know what? And then me and her stopped talking, and then I had to break up with this guy because he was just a crazy person. Like, he wanted to get a job at my workplace and just kept coming all the time. And he
so what, he was kind of using you as a gateway.
And then he made me feel bad for like making money, for earning money. Like, I'm not rich, like I feel like I've got 6 kids. No, I'm joking. But, so I obviously save a lot because I want to buy a house and I'm trying to and I work all the time, like I'm always working.
Yeah.
So, if I want to get an Uber, I'll get an Uber. And like he'd be like, oh, could you get me an Uber? And I'm like,
no.
Well, to be honest, mate, yeah, from northwest London to southeast London, I feel like you should just get a train.
Yeah.
But he'd always make me feel bad for it. And then when you come out of the situation, it made me realise that I don't think I'm weak, but I think that sometimes people are afforded too much of a liberty because I am too sympathetic. Mm-hmm. And feeling sorry for somebody is like a very dangerous emotion because you can allow them to do certain things to you.
Yeah.
And everyone who meets
and
me...
people play on that as well.
Yeah, man.
Because obviously, like, people play on the fact that you are who you are and you're in the public eye and things like that. So they kind of make you feel guilty for but it's my hard-earned money.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You didn't get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Ever. And go to, like, the breakfast show and work in the pub and all this. Because that's another thing, like, I posted on our profile today. Like, they say, like, the average, the person... Sorry, what was the term again? It's, like, basically they're saying... overnight success usually takes about 10,000 hours. Yeah. So it's like...
Yeah, it does, mate.
So you shouldn't
feel
feel
my
guilty
overnight
for
success
that.
hasn't even come yet. I think I'm in like the 9,000 hour.
Yeah.
Watch next week. You can't chat to me. Watch.
Sorry. Well, you know what? We had her here first.
No, but... So it's like, when I say, like, it's not me, it's you, I mean, like, I'm tired of feeling bad for people and then them using it as a reason or an excuse or using it as an ability to take from me.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it's good that I have Remy as well, actually, because she's very tall, yeah, she's a physical bodyguard, but also she's so nice, yeah, that she'll see through it. Mm-hmm. So when we meet people, I just like, now because I've got lots of friends. I've got so many friends that I thought I didn't have any. Yeah, I've got so many. We went to Ibiza, and there was 10 of us, yeah. And then like, even others are like, why don't we get invited? And I was like, oh, sorry, guys. Because all my friends are like my best friends. Mm-hmm. So these group of girls, the 9 of them, 2 of them are my sisters, one's a cousin, one's Remy. Apart from Remy, I've known everyone between the whole of my life and 15 years. So...
That's good.
Yeah. I think, 15 years would be the earliest, and then Remy's come last year. So it's like... they're the assault course before you become my mate now. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it has to be like that. But for some reason, people see and they covet and they want what they think that you have. Yeah. And I don't know what it is that people think that I've got.
Because it is like one of the Jay-Z quotes where he says, like, usually when you become famous, you don't change. It's the people around you that change.
Yeah. Because
people start acting differently towards you. But you're just like, mate, I'm just like, Yinka. you know, nothing's really changed over here.
Famous, it's like, but people, like... They just think that I have things, and it's like I can't play a song on Capital Lecture. I can't interview you. Mm-hmm. I can't give you a show, otherwise I'll lose my job, and then that's peak. So it's, I don't know.
How are you gonna get someone
on my Instagram story?
Exactly.
Like, what? Yeah, but then I feel bad. I feel bad because I'm like, well, obviously I remember when I was trying to do this presenting thing professionally. Like now it feels weird to be a professional, but I remember when I was trying, and I thought, if someone could only help me, but no. No one can help you. Like, you have to... Of course, people can aid you and they can
give you advice
along the way. Yeah, but essentially, I can't make it for you. So it's like, I don't know what
else you can do.
Man.
Yeah.
It's a bit like...
Yeah, so one of your recent blogs, so one of the questions that we always ask our guests is, like, if you were to speak to yourself when you were in year 11, what would you say? But then I went on to your vlog and I was like... Shit, this girl just took my question away.
She just wrote it. How dare she?
But then I was trying to figure out, were you writing it because you said, dear Yink baby? And I know that you're Yink daddy, so I'm assuming, are you talking to your future child?
No, to me, when I was a kid, when I was 15.
Okay.
I wrote a letter to my 15-year-old self.
So what made you decide to write that? Because that's quite recent. So was it like a turning point? Did something happen or?
No, it was like a challenge. So like there's a movie called Lady Bird and it's out on DVD. And then Universal, the distributor, asked me if I want to do it, and they were like, we're going to get a bunch of people, blah blah blah, and they were like, do you want to like do a video, blah blah, and I was like, no, I'll write a letter, and it took me so much longer than I thought it would. The average blog post takes me an hour to write. I'm in the zone. I'm usually annoyed at something. I'm like, you know what, this is irritating me, and then I have to like edit the swearing out. But with this, it took me so long because I thought, number one, I know that I don't listen to people, so even when you think I'm listening, I'm probably thinking about noodles or something. Do you know? Like, I'm like, and I can answer, but I have no idea. I come back in 5 minutes and I've got no idea what you're chatting about. So I thought my younger self would never listen. And my older self is in such a weird situation because there's no spoilers that I'd want to give myself, you know, be it negatives or positives, because I fear that I would react a different way.
Yeah.
And then it could be like, oh, don't date that guy or don't whatever. But like, oh, does it matter? You know?
But then also there's this side of things where you think like, if you hadn't gone through certain circumstances and situations, you wouldn't be the person that you are now. So I guess everything's within reason. But
yeah, I think that like...
it was still quite powerful.
Do you know what? Yeah. I always say when people want things that others have, yeah, I promise it's related to the younger self, I promise. So what I always say is that, so imagine, yeah, if you and I went for the same job. Let's just say that it's a presenting job for Capital Extra.
Yeah.
Imagine if we both went for it,
Yeah.
and I got the job and you didn't get the job. And then I, off the back of that, I ended up on TV and I end up hosting this and hosting that and hosting this, yeah. You should never be upset because when two people have the same opportunity, they do not do the same thing.
The same things with it, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, I do a show for Diet Coke.
Yeah.
That may not afford me any other opportunities, but you may have got the show for Diet Coke, and then, you know, regular Coke found out about it, and then all of a sudden, Fanta love you. Do you know what I mean?
Coke Zero.
Do you know what I mean? You do all the Cokes. Yeah. So it's like, that's the way I feel about things. So I think like when I look at other people and I think, oh, that person DJ'd there. Oh, but it wasn't my portion.
But use it as motivation rather than
but also
the green
I just
eye of envy.
Yeah, but I think, oh, it wasn't my portion. Do you know what? Yeah, like, well done. You know, slay.
Because it's like,
you know what I'm saying?
What's for you can't go past you.
Exactly.
And I
So
love
then-
that. So
Exactly.
your time will come in
So
the
then
right
on the
time.
same vein of like, when it comes to my younger self, I think if you had certain information, you wouldn't have done this. Because nothing that I've done, like I've never killed anybody. You know, I've never like broken the law. I don't. Well, you know, maybe like LimeWire back in the day, but like nothing. You know, nothing. So it's like there's nothing that I have faith in my character that even if I went back, it would probably be very similar.
Yeah.
Like maybe I would have like wore different shoes a day. Do you know, like stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But not. I like my journey. I like the fact that I'm 29 and people think I'm 7. I like the fact that, you know, this is the way I'm going. I like the tempo. I like the speed. Like it's quite snazzy.
Yeah, so it kind of brings us nicely on to my next question, because the next question was about your other blog, which was the blog The Pursuit. So you started that off by saying that your siblings are always saying to you that you don't give yourself enough credit for all of your achievements and the things that you're doing. So are you more comfortable? And can you actually accept the fact that you're doing well at your age now?
I don't feel like I do well, though. This is the thing, yeah, and I get what everyone's saying. I understand it. Like, I get it, yeah. But for me, it's like, I think I've realised in the last couple of months, yeah, that I don't actually find happiness in my job. And that's not to say that my job doesn't make me happy, because it does. But I don't look for that fulfilment from work.
Yeah.
I look for fulfilment with my interactions with humans on a personal level. So I like the fact that I get to spend time, like I can bring my niece to work. Like who else can do that? Yeah. Like I can bring my brother to the office and I'm like, this is my brother. And everyone's like, hi. And then we continue. Like even the other day, I did some work with my family and then I got to get them paid. Like that sort of stuff makes me happy.
It's
that
really
my
cool.
opportunities can afford these things to people. So I don't, like, yes, work does satisfy me, but only to a certain level.
Yeah.
It's impossible for it to do more because
But even if it's not just about work, you know, your ability to help someone is still an achievement.
Yeah,
so
no, it is,
all the things, the positive things that you're doing, can't you be proud of them?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's my position to be proud.
Why
I've
not?
got lots of people that can be proud of me, and while I'm wasting time being proud, I could be doing something else.
No,
So
but
it's like,
you don't have to
that's-
sit there. You're not going to sit there and be like, today,
shine my trophy.
You know what, right now, yeah. Taking
know
the
what,
next 2 hours to
blog
be
was
proud.
sick.
I'm
No,
going to be
but-
proud of myself for 2 hours.
No,
No,
but
but
it's
it's just
like-
appreciating that, you know, you are going to be an inspiration to someone
I get
else.
what you mean,
and
but I don't know how to do it.
But maybe that's what keeps you going.
Maybe.
Because you're constantly in pursuit of the next thing. But I feel like it's still important to be present in the now.
That's the thing I'm trying to learn.
Yeah,
But
you have to be
I've
present.
learned to be present in the now of personal interactions. Like in my relationship, for instance, I appreciate the time that we spend together. With my friends, they're not always on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
I see Remy every day. I see my boyfriend every day. I see my siblings every day. you don't see them every day. Because
Yeah.
it's not up to you. It's not your business. Like in a really nice way. But
No, but
like,
it's
you have
true.
to separate.
Because you get so sucked in. Because I remember, like, you know, like when you go to an event and you might post it on your socials saying, "Oh, I'm going to so and so's concert," and people are like messaging you. So where's the videos? I'm like, mate, but if I'm constantly recording the videos, I'm not in the moment, so I'm not enjoying the performance.
The day that I realised, that I cannot be about this Instagram life, and don't get me wrong, I think I'm sick at Instagram. I think I'm very good at it. I think I would follow you. Personally,
I would follow. I follow you. So,
I think it's fun. I enjoy my.
I like
Instagram.
your personality on Instagram.
Yeah, and I think that it comes across.
Yeah.
But the day that I realised, that I'm not about this life, was a day. So there's a pub in Peckham called the Prince of Peckham. It's fabulous, and I went there with my sisters and my brother, and we were having dinner. And then I was like, oh, I look nice. Take a picture of me to my brother. I have no shame when it comes to taking photos. I will do a photo shoot. When we leave, you're gonna see my niece take a picture of me, and I'm gonna wave at you as you're passing. Like, I have no shame.
No, I see that Remy's like your personal photographer as well. Like the other day, you posted something like, so Remy is actually getting good at this.
She was terrible when she first took a picture of me. Trust me. But so I asked my brother when we were in this pub to take a picture of me. He did, I was like, slap a filter on, put it on Instagram, whoop, whoop, went to the toilet. As I walked out of the toilet, this guy had his phone in his hand and he was looking at the screen and looking at me and looking at the screen and looking at me. And he was like, "You're here?" And because I had tagged my location, I was like, "I am, hello, He's like, "Oh my God, I was in Morrison's and I saw that you tagged, listen.
No.
My bum fell out, my bum fell out. I was so shook.
That's actually pretty scary.
Like, huh? And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "Follow me back." And I was like, "I don't have my phone." He was like, "Well, what did you upload on then?" I was like, "Just accept my lie, man. I don't have my phone in it. Like, allow me." And then so he left me alone. Then someone else came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, I was just in the garden, and I saw that you." And there was like, 4 people, four individual
Did you put
human
that
beings.
The exact place that you was at?
At Prince of Peckham.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So 3 of them were in the Prince of Peckham at the time. Well, no, 2 of them. One was on their way apparently, and the other guy was in Morrison's. And that's when I thought, you know what? I can't do this. I can't, because I'm literally eating chicken with my hands, and people are, and I got red lipstick all over my face. I don't look like that photo anymore. So that's that. Now I post after, because even there was a time when it was just like I put up a story and I said like I'm on air, come say hi. I didn't mean come.
Literally,
I meant like DM me, or like tweet or whatever. And then I left radio, and then there was this guy outside, and he was like, "Oh, you said come say hi." I said, "Not to my face. What are you talking about?" So now I have to put I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm like, not really, just tweet me. Like I have to put it in brackets because apparently it's not clear. So since those so you understand what I mean by me being a little bit not scared of people, because that's ridiculous, but like a little bit apprehensive sometimes. So now I just wait. Like I just wait. I'll go home and then I'll post.
The thing,
where I was.
you don't really. Because sometimes you're posting almost absent-mindedly. You're not thinking that people are literally going to take the post
but I've
and
known
flip and
people
show up.
who've been robbed because people knew they went on holiday. You're Snapchatting all in your house, people see your belongings.
Oh yeah, because then you're on holiday, so they know that you're not at home.
There. So like habits have to get changed, innit? For sometimes. But you know what I'm saying though? It's like it's one of those things where support is always lovely, and like I said before, like I appreciate it. I just get like because I'm loud as well, like outside. But someone came up to me and Remy the other day. She was actually going to come here, but she woke up late. But yeah, someone came up to me and Remy the other day, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't know that you two were like this in real life." And we were like, "Who are you? What do you mean?" And they said that because basically Remy was dancing, and I was like spinning around her. I can't really dance in it, and Remy's got all the rhythm. I think she stole it from me, and then she was trying to teach me to shaku shaku in it. And
I heard you talking about today on radio.
When there's nobody around, right? But it's when there's people
you got stage fright.
Yeah, I do. And then when people look at me, it's like I get gassed, because obviously I got an audience, and then even now,
Miss, I don't get nervous. No, get nervous for shaku.
Listen, I cannot control my body. What do I want to know? My head is in it. If I close my eyes, it looks perfect to me. So and then they were like, "Oh, how we seem the same as when we're on online, on air, whatever." But we are though. No. But it's just I don't know. Like sometimes I get a bit like kiss.
So we're kind of coming to the end of the interview now, but it's been amazing having you on.
Thank you.
It's been a refreshing conversation. So
Yay.
What's the future for
Yink Daddy?
Yink Daddy?
I don't know. I obviously
Is there anything that you'd love to do? Like,
I want to do telly.
bucket list.
I've decided that I want to be on TV because, I think I'm getting to the point now where people are getting to know me as a person, and like I had a fear before of people looking at the TV while it's on mute, and just like judging me. Like,
you know, sometimes when the screen freezes, and then
and you're just there
in some horrible
you
face.
See, you know what I'm talking about. Exactly. And like even I used to get scared, and people, I've got over it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I've almost finished a blog post about it, about like the fact that I know that like I seem mad confident, and I think I am probably more than the average person. However, I worry that people won't get it, that they don't understand.
But I think it's because you're stepping out of your comfort zone again. So as you step out of your comfort zone, you have to kind of like break through that glass because you're comfortable presenting now. But imagine when you remember when you said that when you first got to Capital Extra and you were shook. So sometimes being shook is actually a good thing because then when you're stepping into a new arena, like you have to go through the process
also, like,
again.
I feel like if I was Dave in Ipswich, just like a random man, or like, you know, if I was Beth in Manchester, and
Love the names, by the way.
Do you know what I mean? Like a just a person, and I saw this child-looking person with all these tattoos. I'd be like, "What's this on my telly? Get off!" So it's like having to get over that.
But it depends on who. It depends on the show that you're. It depends on the show and your audience.
It's just like a weird insecurity thing that I've had where I'm just like, people may not get it. Like even I think I put on my Instagram the other day, because obviously I've got scars and that, and then people think that I've photoshopped my belly button, and I'm like, no, man.
I saw that.
What's wrong with you? You're out of your mind. You're out of control. So you know, like getting over the whole. Because I don't mind. Because on radio, the reason why it's a beautiful medium for me, anyway, is because traditionally, people would hear what you sound like, and then you'd say your name, and then people would have to Google what you look like, or they have to find you on Instagram or whatever. Yeah. So it affords me that luxury of just being a voice in people's ear, and then they decide if they, you know, want to get down with my eyebrows or whatever. Whereas, like, on telly, if you're in the nail shop, for instance, and you're watching it on mute, all you see is my face, and you have no indication of what I'm like or what I sound like or whatever. So it's getting over that hurdle. So it's not necessarily me being nervous about it, but it's just about the fact that it's me putting my actual image, you know, like this is my face, this is my body, these are my hands, for people just to be looking at. Potentially, she's looking at my hands. they are your
face, like that is a hand.
What I mean? I do want to do telly. I've been filming a lot recently this year. The first half of this year, I've been doing loads of online stuff, and I did a couple documentaries and did some bits for TV. So it's made me a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, practice will make perfect.
Yeah, so it's like I'm good at it. Like I believe in my sauce, but
too much sauce,
too much. But it's just not. I think that like not worrying when people have stuff to say.
But the good thing is, hopefully, that you wouldn't get to hear it.
Yeah,
and worrying about whether it's on mute. It's like,
you know what I'm saying,
but you can't worry. I know what you're saying, but you can't worry about that. I'm hoping that most people watch their television with the volume up.
You know what I'm saying? Though, like, and people are just like, "Oh, shut up!" And it's like I don't even know that it's just like they hate my face.
But I just think you just have to accept that you're not going to be for everyone.
Of course,
and it's something like, for example, because for Ryan and I, when we started the podcast, like we're people who have always been behind the scenes. No one knows us. They don't know what we do. So come in like. We run the risk of someone writing a really nasty review and say, oh, what the hell is that Vinay got to say? Or, you know, so there's always going to be...
Yeah.
And I feel like people these days, they just want to be offended and they just want to be nasty. So,
but it's like also, like, I don't read YouTube comments because they stress me out. YouTube, I've never met anyone who comments on YouTube. So it's like, who are all these people, first and foremost?
Exactly.
They're all mad. And secondly, obviously, most of, if not all the comments... would be like about the way I look or about what the rapper or singer or band are going to do to me or have done to me after, during the interview. Like, she's flirting, they definitely did this, oh look, he's that, and it's like, oh gosh, get out of town. We're talking about his EP. It's
funny because I was saying the same thing to Ryan the other day. I think sometimes because like the Kardashians, I think, get it a lot, and I find myself doing it to them. But then at the same time, I look at YouTube videos and I'm like, why are people so mean? Like, why would they say something like that about someone that they don't know? But then I do it, so I'm just like...
You do it to your mates though, so it's not...
Yeah.
You're not posting it for them to see.
But then...
Obviously, it's the same, but it isn't.
It's like, I don't know what some, like... Where do you find the time to go and comment on YouTube? I watch loads of people, but I'm not that person to even rate or comment.
But that's the thing. So it's like getting over that and like not watching YouTube comments is one, like not reading them, not rising to every person who tries to get to me, because obviously they do negative stuff just because they know they got a reaction. Because before, people say nice things, and it's like you want to say thank you to everybody, but if I'm saying thank you all the time, it's like you're gassing me, and I'm gonna start to believe it. Okay, so I can't be like, oh thanks, they're from Prada, like it's like they're not, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then when people say bad stuff, and then you reply to them, they're like, oh, I just want you to see if you reply. I just wanted your attention. So you got it now and you're blocked. How about that? So it's like not rising to it.
Yeah, I just think you just have to do your thing and not worry too much about people. I'm sure you're going to be amazing because you have the right personality for it.
Babe.
You definitely do. So you do.
But yeah.
Because you've got an engaging personality. So I don't think I'll ever be bored watching you. So you'll be absolutely fine.
I'm going to put you in the room when I'm
Go, Yinka! Yinka Daddy!
But I think I'll be sick at like hosting a show though.
I think you would be.
Yeah. Like, and welcome. Serious business.
Because again, you're the same in person that you are on radio. So that helps. Because sometimes you can put on the enthusiasm because you're just doing that for a couple hours. But I just think it's just your personality anyway. So you'd be absolutely cool.
Imagine like when the mic goes off, and just like
silent.
I go off, like mute. I was going to standby.
Yeah, so coming to the end now. So now that you've been on the podcast, you know what it's like. Would you recommend anyone for the show?
Oh, who do I think you should talk to next?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can say more than one.
I'm thinking. I think that... What's everyone I know that's in the radio? Let me think. Oh, I think Clara Ampho would be
Clara
good.
Ampho.
Yeah, she's lovely. She's one of my inspirations, actually. She's very nice. And also... I think that it doesn't have to be somebody who's definitely in the limelight, does it? It doesn't have to be.
No, that's the thing. Our show is very much about shining a spotlight on people as well. So we've got two sides to the show. Your interview is like one that we'd release on a Monday because those are like full in-depth interviews. But on a Wednesday we do like a spotlight where we have people on who are up and coming.
Remy.
So yeah, we'd love to have Remy. I've been thinking about sliding into Remy's DMs anyway.
Yeah, Remy's funny as well. She'll probably knock the mic over though. She's mad. You gotta glue it. You gotta glue it to the table. 'Cause
Remy, do you hear what your friend's saying about you?
I said, yeah, definitely. You have to glue it down. She's gonna fall over. She'll knock all these chairs.
Definitely, we'll have Remy on for sure.
But you have to call her Remy Bergs.
Remy Bergs.
There you go.
I got it.
She's going to be so mad that I made you do that. She hates when I do that.
All right, Yink Daddy. So where can people follow you online?
Oh, yeah, man. People who spell my name wrong don't deserve me, all right? Yinka Bokinni. Bokinni is spelt with one K and two N's. It's so simple, but everyone gets it wrong all the time.
I think I got it wrong.
B-O-K. What did you get two Ks? Was it you?
Yeah.
See? It's written for everyone to see. But yeah, at Yinka Bokinni across all social. I only have Twitter and Instagram though. I don't have Snapchat.
That's cool.
Yeah, because the battery, man. Goodness gracious.
What do you think it drains the battery?
It does drain your battery.
Oh, shame.
It takes your battery.
I only use Snapchat for the filter and then come straight back off it.
I
don't ever post on my Snapchat. I go in there, that filter that just makes it cool.
The pretty filter.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The Kim Kardashian filter. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The one that makes it look cool. Yeah, the one that makes it look cool. I literally go on there.
I can't use that because it makes my head look like a light bulb. You look at it because you can see it, isn't it? You can see it. Yeah, I've got like a little alien
this show because our icons are a light bulb. So yeah, we could use your head next time.
That was my brother calls me light bulb. He's like light bulb because of my head shape.
That's deep.
So mean.
Yeah. So what's your website?
Oh, yinkabokini.com.
Yeah,
everything.
Your blog posts are really dope, by the way. I like the way how it just sounds like you.
Just chatting.
Yeah, just chatting. Yeah. So that's dope. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed the interview.
Yeah. Usually it's the other way around. It feels like a bit. I'm like, oh, hey.
Have you done a podcast before?
Yeah.
Okay,
cool. I did one with Maya. It's coming out in next month.
Oh, the melons.
Yeah,
the melons
the melons one.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. We need to get Maya on the show as well.
Yes. She's funny.
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening, guys. It's been absolutely wonderful sitting down with Yink Daddy. Remember to follow us on Instagram at For The Creators Podcast. We're on Twitter at @4_The Creators. And remember to subscribe, review, recommend, and download. Until next time, guys, this has been For The Creators.
Boom.
Bye.
Boom.